Good evening, everyone. We are so happy to invite you all to the Basics of
Good,
Investment course of day 2 of the workshop. Courage taught me no matter how bad a crisis
good evening,
gets.
ma'am.
Okay. Courage taught me no matter how bad a crisis get, any sound investment will eventually pay off. Don't despair amid the inevitable setback that all investors face, especially during a crisis in the market. If the reasoning behind the investment was sound, stick with it and it should eventually turn around. It's my pleasure to welcome all the participants for the workshop. I'm Aishwarya, Finance Internet Career Dreams Education in association with Money Barters, and they are the leading provider of finances services. Money Barters, established in 2021, we are at Money Barters offer comprehensively competent customized services and academics oriented professional financial consultancy in the arena of funds allocations, portfolio management, asset management, capital structuring, taxation, and business regulatory framework. Our management unleashing core competences with our professional team. We are at Money Barters work enthusiastically with a multi-dimensional integrated approach to serve the perfections. So before starting our program, I would like to invite all our honorable authorities so that we can start our meeting with a positive vibe. So let's welcome Ms. Shika Gadoria ma'am, Managing Head of Money Barters and Finance Coordinator. So ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Come on guys, everyone clap in the chat box. So if you have any questions during the presentation, please type them in the chat box and we'll discuss them at the end of the session. So once again, a warm greetings on behalf of Career Dreams Education and Money Barters to all the participants. Today's presentation is taken by Alekia ma'am. Welcome ma'am. And the mic is yours ma'am.
Thank you, Aishwarya. So, good evening, Shikha ma'am. Good evening to everyone here.
Good
Thank you
evening,
for,
ma'am.
good evening, sir. Thank you for attending the session. Uh, okay, let's begin the session today. So, where is the Josh, guys? Like, reply in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself. Okay, okay. Let's start the session today. So, we are here to discuss about a topic called investment avenues. Okay, okay. Give me a second. I'll present the screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? I'm sharing the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for all your shares. So let's begin. So before getting into what exactly investment venue is, like I want to know from all the participants, like any one of you, just tell me what is an investment or investment venues, different types of investments. You people know. Any one of you? Please do interact with me. Or Pawan sir, could you help me with the names? Can you pick the
Yes,
name?
ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. And
Anyone? I'll repeat the question again. What are the different
uh,
types of investment you know, or what is an investment avenue?
Shruti, ma'am. Hello, Shruti Sri, ma'am.
Hello, Shruti ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, ma'am.
How are you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you?
Yeah, ma'am. Can you answer this question? Or
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
Kim MS Kim. Yes. Thank you,
Coming
ma'am.
to an
Thank you.
investment avenue, it is a kind of vehicle in which we can invest the money which we have with us. And
Yes.
some of the investment avenues which I have idea about is national pension scheme and equity, mutual funds, and also gold,
Great.
real estate.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Correct, ma'am.
Great, ma'am. Great, ma'am.
Great,
Very
great.
good, ma'am. Clap for
Round of
Alec
applause for
Shruti,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Shruti ma'am. Thank you for your share, and you were correct.
Thank
So,
you.
investment, yeah, thank you. So, basically, Investment avenues are the different ways that a person can invest his money. Simple, like you have some capital, you have some money, like lump sum money. You want to invest in any kind of investment avenue. That is called investment avenue. So I think everybody is clear with the meaning of investment avenue, right? Okay, let's get to the original topic, that is types of investment avenues. So, first is equity shares. Equity shares are long term financing sources for any company. These shares are issued to the general public and they are non redeemable in nature. So, the investors in such equity shares, they have the right to vote, share profits, and claim assets of a company. Okay, I'll explain you this in a very simple manner. Equity shares are long term financial sources. Like this is not for short term or within 1 year. You will get the returns more than 1 year, like after 1 year, or it might be for 5 years, 10 years, or 8 years, anything, etc. as such. So these are the long term financing sources, and these shares are issued by the company to the general public. Okay, I'll give you an example. I am a XYZ company. I want to raise capital in the form of equity shares, and I will approach some kind of newspapers and I will give announcement that I need some capital for my company. In return, I will issue the general public some shares, which will be of high return based on the stock price and all. So with that announcements and all, I will get some leads. Understanding, right, guys? So I will get some leads, and few of the public, general public, are ready to subscribe the shares in my company. I will get the capital and I will be giving the shares to them. After few years, let's take after 2 or 3 years, I want to give out the dividends. I want to pay dividends to them. What I will do, I will pay dividends, and in return to them, the shareholders or the general public will get high return from this equity shares. High return. This is basically a high income source. So equity shares have a characteristics of gaining high returns and high income. Any doubts, guys?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am. It's clear, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So this is all about equity shares. Any doubts? I found somebody speaking on the mic. Okay. This is all about equity shares. Equity shares basically will be offered by the companies. This is one type of the form. And the second type is like you can directly go to the stock exchanges. Like people are aware of Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchanges, right? So you can go to their website. And for example, I like Infosys Limited because it is the top company. It is a top performing company. I want to invest some shares. I want to invest my money in that. I will be getting the shares from that. So I will be getting some return from that company after few years. So this is also a type of channel where you can invest in equity shares. So let's get into the types or classification of equity shares. First one is blue chip scrip. Scrip is nothing but stock, guys. It is nothing but stock. So blue chip scripts are basically a huge company with an excellent reputation, and they are typically large, well established, and financially sound companies that have operated for many years and that have dependable earnings, often paying dividends to investors. Blue chip company or blue chip, these kind of stocks are basically offered by very large companies. Let's say Infosys Limited itself. Infosys is a very large company and it has a legacy of from so many years. I don't know. It is established before something like before 2000, in the year 2000, before 2000 itself. So it has a legacy of so many years. Since its stock price has shown a very good profitable trend, these companies are called as blue chips companies, and the particular stock that is offering is called as blue chip stocks. I told you before itself the examples like Infosys or TCS, MRF Limited, Coca-Cola Company, and IBM Corporation and all comes under blue chip stocks. Any doubts, guys? I hope you understood this concept, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So let's get into the second one, growth script. Growth stock is any share in a company that is anticipated. Anticipated is nothing but prediction. Anticipated to grow at a rate significantly above the average growth for the market. Okay, I'll give you a very fun example. Does anybody watch Netflix series? Any one of you? I cannot see the chat box, but anyone can help me out with the responses. Use thumbs up or anything.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, Netflix. Who's a fan of Netflix? The app called Netflix. It's really, I mean, it's doing really well nowadays when the pandemic started, right?
Yes,
Anyone
ma'am.
of you? Yes. So Netflix is an example for growth stock. Like since the pandemic started, many people have, since they're staying at homes, right? Many people have started binge watching the Netflix series and all. We can take the example of Amazon also. Like since the pandemic started, they're watching all the movies, series, all the new releases are given to the Netflix and Amazon itself. Since the users are increasing for that particular Netflix and Amazon, the company is gaining profits. In return, it is gaining all the impressions and users, right? So the company will gradually grow with this. So the company holding these type of growth, these type of stocks will be considered as growth stocks. I have given you an example like Netflix, Amazon. We also have Facebook, Apple, so many e-business sites and all. This will come under growth scripts. Okay. Next comes the income script, income stocks. Basically, I will tell you with a very simple meaning. Income scripts or income stocks are like which will yield income, which will be giving out income on a regular in the sense it might be quarterly or yearly or 2 years once as such, which will give the dividends or any kind of income very regular and in a stable manner. For example, the XYZ company, there is an XYZ company. That particular company will be paying dividends to its shareholders for 2 years once. And I told you before itself, equity shares will yield high returns, right? So, for example, a particular shareholder, an individual shareholder is earning 2 lakh crores. I mean, not 2 lakh crores exactly, but 10,000, 10 lakhs or something from that company, XYZ company. That is regular and stable. Again, they will be giving the stable same 10 lakhs every 2 years or 1 year or quarterly. This is called as income, which will be giving out stable and regular income. That's it. Okay. Next comes the cyclical stock. Okay. Before getting into cyclical stock, I want to ask a question to all the participants. So does anybody know what are the stages of economy or economic cycle? Anyone, guys? There are 4 stages, right? If you remember. 4 stages of economic.
Yes, ma'am. Inflation, stagflation, recession. That, ma'am, is that?
Yes, sir. Exactly correct. Exactly correct, sir. Yes, sir. Your answer was right. So the 4 stages of economic cycle is expansion, peak, recession, and recovery. So why am I talking about this is cyclical. This is a cyclical journey. This kind of stocks will depend majorly on macroeconomic factors. Those factors can be like economic cycles or any kind of government regulations or as such. This kind of stocks depends on that. For example, I will give you airlines, if they are holding any kind of stock or they have any kind of established stock in the stock market. For example, we can take Air India itself. It is doing really bad, right, guys? It is doing really bad. And suddenly their profits are not at all well. They are in losses. The company is almost in a 6 stage. So gradually their stock prices will reduce because they are in a recession state. Not even recession, they're almost in a closing state, winding up state. So the stock prices gradually decrease, right? When the company is in recession, the stock prices will decrease. When the company is in recovery, the stock prices will be average, like maintaining average price and all. And when the stock of a company is in peak stage, I mean, the prices will shoot up very badly. We cannot compare that with another company itself, that the prices are shooting very, very high. And where the company is in expansion stage, again, it is showing a very good sign. The green shoots are really well for this company. So the particular cyclical stock, where I gave you an example of airlines, right? Air India and all, where they will be basically depending on the external factors like economic cycles, like recession, expansion, peak, everything. Their profits, their stock prices, whether it is falling or increasing, will basically depend on this particular factors. I can give you another examples like restaurants, Walmart, and etc. So this is all about cyclical scripts. Next comes the speculative scripts. So anybody can give me the meaning of speculative or speculation? What exactly is that? Anyone? Okay. I will give you the meaning. Speculative or speculation is nothing but you are predicting something in the future. Understood? No, guys? Reply no.
Yes, ma'am.
Understood, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You'll be predicting something. You have some forecast for the future. So basically, a speculative stock is a stock that a trader uses to speculate. This may be an emerging market stock that the trader expects to become much better known very soon. This fundamental of the stock do not have an apparent strength or sustainable business model, leading it to be the viewed as very risky and trade at comparatively low price. Basically, speculative script is something you're expecting something you will be getting in the future, basically. So this is all about speculation. You'll be predicting, you have some prediction that you'll be getting some huge profits in the future. And this is trading in a very high risky manner. Above all of these scripts, speculative script is a very risky one because you don't know what will happen in the future, right? I know that all other scripts have the same characteristics, like you cannot predict, but at least by seeing the trends of the previous years of that particular company, like technical analysis, fundamental analysis, you have so many things like security analysis indicators. With that, you can at least predict the trend of that particular price the next day or the next year. But when it comes to speculative script, you cannot do that. I will give you an example for that. For example, there is a newly emerging oil company, newly set up oil company, which is expecting some high profit in the future. So, and suddenly it wants to establish its business or tie up a business in the Iraq nation. You know that those nations have oil companies before itself. Why will they grant permission to tie up with this kind of newly established company, which is not at all emerging or not at all reputative, right? So this will lead to losses. That company will lead to losses. So this is called as speculative script or stock. Any doubts in this, guys? All the types in the equity shares? I can answer your question.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much for all your responses. So let's move to the second one. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Second type of investment avenues, debentures or bonds. Debenture is a type of bond or other debt instrument that is unsecured. That means unsecured in the sense like you need not give any kind of collateral. What is collateral? Collateral is like any attachment of your asset. It may be your house, land, agricultural land, farmhouse, anything. You need not attach all such kind of collateral and all the assets and all. It is unsecured. When you don't have any kind of collateral, the particular debenture or loan will become unsecured. When you have the collateral, it will become secured loan. So debentures are a type of bonds and also bond or debt instruments that is unsecured in nature. I told you before itself, like collateral, there is no collateral backing and all. So these kind of debentures basically have or trade on some coupon rate. You'll be paying it in annual percentage or as such annually. So debentures will be given by corporates also, like these kind of debenture, this venue will also be given by corporates, and also it will be issued by government also, to raise capital. Basically, we all know that investment is like to raise capital, and we'll make money from that. So corporates and government, I told you about two things here, right? Among these two, that is corporate bond debentures or bonds, or government debentures or bonds, like which is very secure, you think, guys? Like whether it is government bonds or debentures, I mean government bonds or corporate bonds are very secured. Like anyone can answer this?
Mostly government, ma'am, because they have a reputation to keep up, right?
Yes, correct, sir. Like they, if our money is in the government hands, we people think that it is safer, right? So basically, government securities or bonds or debentures are very safer than corporate bonds. Why is, like, I'll tell you the reason. Like sometimes private or corporates, non-government issuable securities will have some fluctuations in the interest rates, right? Right, guys? Like they have, if the particular interest rates or something, it will rise or it will fall, you have to pay extra or you have to pay less, and the security price will gradually go down, right? Correct? No? Yes. So basically, comparatively, comparing with corporate bonds and government bonds, government is very safer. So I hope everyone understood this debentures or bonds thing. I will get into the types of debentures. So let's discuss about government securities. As I told, it is very safer. Government securities are generally an investment product offered by the government. Yes, government will be offering this. So it can be in the form of treasury notes, treasury bills, or bonds. I will discuss about this treasury bills and all in the next slides. This kind of securities usually offers fixed rate of interest. So see, you can see the difference here itself. Like government securities have a fixed rate of interest, even though if there is any kind of non-balance in economic cycle or macro internal or external factors, there will be no change in the fixed like interest rates. But in the case of corporate, they will have some changes very easily. They will change very easily. So government securities are very safer. Next are saving bonds. Saving bonds or also government bonds. So basically, it is a loan to the government for up to 30 years. 30 years in the sense you have ample amount of time to pay the interest, and you'll be getting very good, not very good return, but you will be getting medium returns. But it is a very safer investment venue, because again, it will be seen by the government itself. Next is public sector unit bonds, PSUs. These are the bonds. They are essentially medium or long-term debt instruments issued by public sector undertakings that owned and managed by the central or state government. Again, they are managed by the government itself. Again, they are safer in hands. Your money will be safer. They will be, I mean, state government will also issue this, or central government will also issue this. So they are public sector banks. Like we have so many banks, like right, like SBI, PNB, ICICI, everything. These public sector banks will be issuing these kind of bonds or debentures that will be for up to 30 years. That's it. Any doubts, guys? Like any doubts till this? All these are government securities which are very safer.
No doubt, ma'am.
Any doubts? Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. And the last one in debentures or bonds is, it's not exactly debentures or bonds. These are preference shares. Like this is a very known topic, right? Can any one of you tell me what are preference shares from the participants? Please do respond. Anyone? What are preference shares? There are two types of shares, right? Equity shares and preference shares. I explained you what are
Guys,
equity
feel free
shares.
to answer the question.
Yeah. Yes,
Even
yes.
if you
Preference shares are those shares which they get the preference in payment of in terms of dividend, and they will have a fixed rate of dividend.
Very
Correct,
good,
sir.
sir.
Very good.
Great answer.
I think correct. Yes, sir. So basically, preference shares are company stocks with dividends that are paid out to shareholders before common stock dividends are issued. That means before equity shareholders are getting payment, I mean getting dividends, these preference shareholders will be paid first. They will be paid second. That's itself the difference between preference shares and equity shares. Basically, nowadays, none of the companies issuing preference shares. I mean, like it is not profitable for them. So practically, they are not doing this. So these are the kinds of debentures or bonds. Any doubts in this? So that we can proceed to the next topic. Okay, I think no one has any doubt. Let's jump into the third topic, that is money market instruments. So money market instruments are just like debentures, but the time period is very less. That means it is the time period means it is less than 1 year. Basically, debentures are up to, I told you that they will be up to 30 years, 15 years, 10 years, more than 1 year. But when it comes to money market instruments, they are less than 1 year. So any kind of loan you're taking or any kind of investment you want to make it, you can just withdraw it within 1 year itself, less than 1 year. So it is a short-term financing instrument. Corporate entities can utilize their idle working capital by investing in money market instruments. Yes, this is a very important point. Like if any kind of company or any kind of corporates have unused working capital within their company, they can directly take out that money. They can invest in money market instruments. That will be very effective for them because it will be providing very good returns after 1 year, before 1 year itself. So they can do this. Let's discuss about various types of money market instruments. First is treasury bills. They are money market instruments which are short-term debt instruments issued by Government of India. Again, they are safer in hands. And presently, they are issued in 3 tenors. I mean, 3 durations. That is 91 days. I mean, within 91 days, you can just withdraw it, or within 180 days, and within 364 days. You can just note it down, or you can just remember this. The tenors are like 91 days, 182 days, and 364 days. So within this particular tenure, you can just use this money market instrument like treasury bill and all. We have treasury note in this. Treasury notes have 2, 3, 5 or 10 year maturities. So this is something very, this is looking like long-term investment. So they have 2, 3, 4 or 5 or 10 year maturity, making them intermediate term bonds. These notes pay a fixed rate coupon or interest payment semi-annually. Okay, they have a very good fixed rate coupon or interest payment, which they'll be paying semi-annually. Okay, I think nobody has any doubts in this. Any doubts in treasury bills? Basically, you have to be a company or a trader where you can use this treasury bills. Okay, let's
No one has doubts, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. Let's get into the second topic, that is commercial paper. Commercial paper is a commonly used type of unsecured loan, again unsecured instrument, which is short-term in nature, which is again a debt instrument issued by various corporations, typically used for financing of payroll, accounts payable, inventories, and meeting other short-term liabilities. Okay, basically if a company has lack of money, I mean the particular company has no cash in hand at that time, they can use this kind of commercial papers. That's it. They will be mainly used for payroll, accounts payable, inventories, and etc. Commercial paper can be used for maturities between a minimum of 7 days and a maximum of up to 1 year from the date of issue. From the date of issue of this commercial paper, you can that maturity of that particular commercial paper will be minimum of 7 days, that is 1 week, and a maximum up to 1 year. Within 1 year and a minimum of 7 days, that is 1 week, you can just use this commercial papers. This is about commercial papers. Next is certificate of deposits. Certificate of deposit is a simple and popular savings vehicle offered by banks and credit unions. Okay. When you see the name, like when you see deposits in the name itself, usually this will be offering by banks or credit unions. When a depositor purchases a certificate of deposit, they agree to leave a certain amount of money on deposit at the bank. They will be like giving some deposit in the bank account, I mean the bank, for a certain period of time. That will be for less time itself. That particular time will be less, such as 1 year. I told you, since these are money market instruments, they will be for 1 year, less than 1 year. The maturity period of certificate of deposit issued by bank should not be less than 7 days. The maturity period should not be less than 7 days, but it can be less than 1 year. That's it. This is certificate of deposits where the banks or credit unions will be giving out. That's it. Okay. Next comes the promissory notes. Promissory notes is one of the earliest type of bills. This is very traditional type of bills. Okay. It is a financial instrument with a written promise by one party to pay to another party a definite sum of money by demand or at a specified future date, although it falls in due for payment after 90 days within 3 days of grace. However, promissory notes are usually not in the business. Since it is very old, they are not evident in the business nowadays. Promissory notes are like, for example, I will borrow some money from my friend. I will be promising that person that I will pay this money within this particular duration. Let's say 90 days or 60 days. After a few days, during the maturity period of 60 days, I will be paying that money to that particular person. This is like a promissory note because I've promised that I will be paying that person the money within this particular 60 days. This is all about promissory notes. Any doubts, guys? I think these all are very easy topics.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No doubt, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I'll continue the topic. Next is call and notice money. Call and notice money exist in the market. Yes, they are existing and you can trade that. You can see in the stock exchanges, basically. With respect to call money, I'm telling the meaning of call money. The funds are borrowed. The funds will be borrowed from particular person or an entity and lent for 1 day. For 1 day, they are borrowing the money. Whereas in the notice market, they are borrowed and lending up to 14 days without any collateral security. So what is the differences between call and notice money? Call money, in call money, the money will be borrowed for 1 day. They'll use it and they'll give it back. Whereas in notice money, they will borrow the money and they will settle it within 14 days. This is all about call and notice money. And also they have a benefit like you need not give any kind of collateral for this call and notice money, which is very, very great. I mean, they have some demerits for it, but also without any collateral means many people will be running behind this call and notice money. So call money is for 1 day, notice money is for 14 days or less than 14 days. That's it. And you can see in the slide, like they have some rate of interest for call money. That is, in the year 2020, it was 3.54, and in the year 2021, it was 3.13. For 91-day treasury bill, like the yield in the sense after the returns you'll be getting after this particular duration of treasury bills, it was 3.14 in the year 2020, and it was to 3.41 in the year 2021. I mean, it is kind of less itself, but comparing with the certificate of deposits, I think you can go with that because they might yield little higher because banks are undertaking that, right? So remaining all are yielding almost the less kind of interest itself. So this is all about call and notice money. Let's get into interbank term market, the next one. The interbank term market is for the cooperative and commercial banks. Okay, can any one of you tell me commercial banks, like list out some commercial banks in India? Very easy question, like any one of you can answer. Anyone? Banks that we have in India. Okay.
Ma'am,
I
actually
will.
is asking one question. I will read it.
Okay. So,
As interest rate will be changing for 6 months or 1 year. Happy.
since, okay, sir, I can answer. See, if it is for government, I told before itself, they have a fixed rate of interest, right, sir? Government will have fixed rate of interest. Understood, sir? But when it comes to corporate, that will be changing because they don't have any kind of backing, right? So the corporate bonds or any kind of corporate holdings will change the interest rates. But when it comes to government, they will have fixed rate of interest. You might have noticed it, right? They will be having fixed rate of interest. Yeah. Did I clear your doubt, sir? Hello.
Hello, Akhil sir. Are you satisfied with the answer? Yes, ma'am. He is satisfied. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Akhil, sir. Okay. Interbank term market. Uh, we have many commercial banks in India, like SBI, PNB, and Union Bank of India, and so many commercial banks. Basically, in interbank term market, there will be two parties. One is cooperative or commercial banks. In simple terms, I'll tell you, like there will be two types of banks. For example, Citibank. I'll give you an example. One bank is Citibank. Second is ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank wants to borrow some money from Citibank for less period of, let's say a period of 14 days or within 90 days. It wants to borrow some money from Citibank, Citigroup Bank. So Citibank will lend some money to the ICICI Bank. So they will use it, and after 60 days or 90 days, they will repay it. That's it. So interbank term, with the name itself, you can make out that interbank term means a transaction or any kind of investment or any kind of borrowing of money, lending of money will happen between two different banks. That's it. This is all about interbank term market. And again, there is no need of collateral security for this because it is for very less tenure, right? So there will be no collateral security as such. Okay. Next is banker's acceptance. A banker's acceptance is a document that promises future payment, which is guaranteed by a commercial bank. Also, it is used in money market funds and will specify the details of repayment like date of repayment, amount to be paid, and details of the individual to which the repayment is due. Basically, the maturity period will range from 30 days up to 180 days. Basically, what is bankers acceptance is like, there will be a commercial bank, let's say PNB, Punjab National Bank, or SBI, State Bank of India. They will be assuring a particular trader or a party of future payment. Like that particular trader has approached the bank for borrowing some money for their business or trading, and that particular bank will verify some kind of documents, like they'll be checking the genuinity, right, of that business or trader. They'll be, after all the document verification, that particular bank will give access to use the, like, borrow the money. And the maturity rate, like that particular banker's acceptance document will contain the date of repayment, that the particular trader has to do, and the amount to be paid, and details of individual to which the repayment is due. So all these details regarding that particular party or trader will be written in this banker's acceptance document. So the maturity will range from 30 days up to 180 days, very less time. Since these are money market instruments, no, so there will be very less time. So this is all about banker's acceptance. Any doubts? If there are no doubts, okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. So, and the last one is repurchase agreements, repo. Repurchase agreements are also known as reverse repo or as repo. They are loans of short duration because they are money market instruments. They will be for short duration, that is less than 1 year, which are agreed by buyers and sellers for the purpose of selling and repurchasing. Okay, I know that no one understood this. I will give you an example. A bank, let's say Citibank, will sell its bonds to another bank. Let's say HSBC Bank. So this particular Citibank will sell its bonds to HSBC Bank for that particular tenure and agrees to buy the bonds back later at a higher price. Transactions can only be permitted between securities approved by RBI, like the central or state government securities, treasury bills, central or state government, PSU bonds. So basically, what exactly is this repurchase agreement is like? This particular party will sell some of its instruments or any kind of bonds or debentures to some other party, the second party. Again, it will buy back the same bonds and debentures from that second party with on higher rate of interest. That's it. This is all about repurchase agreements. And any kind of regulation or any kind of like controlling will be done only by RBI in India, because that is the regulatory body of all the banks in India. That is Reserve Bank of India. So this is all about repurchase agreements, repo. Any doubts in money market instruments? If no, we can
No doubt, ma'am.
go with the fourth one.
No, ma'am.
Thank
No,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. So next comes the fourth one, that is mutual funds. Very easy. Mutual funds are an easy and tension-free way of investment, and it automatically diversifies the investments. A mutual fund is an investment only in debt or only in equity, or a mix of both of debt and equity in the ratio, like 50-50%. Basically, when you see the image on the right side of the screen, mutual fund is a pool of money collected from investors by mutual fund managers. The money which they have collected will be invested in different investments. It might be in equity alone, it might be in debt alone, it might be again with 50-50 ratio of equity and debt. So the income what they receive from mutual fund can be in the form of interest, dividends, gains, and then distribute the money to the investors. Basically, mutual funds includes an asset management company where the particular fund manager will pool the money of various investors, and that particular asset management company will invest the money of all the pooled money of all the investors in various avenues. It might be in equity, it might be in debt, it might be the ratio of both equity and debt. That's it. It is very risk free, that has very less risk, and you will get very high returns in case of equity or hybrid schemes. Let's discuss about various schemes in equity, I mean mutual funds. First is equity schemes. As we all know that equity schemes or equity shares or equity stocks will yield very high returns. Investments in this kind of scheme is really good, and also it will be high risky also. Equity will have high risk because we don't know when the market fluctuates, right? Like the market might be very good today, might be yielding very high profits today, and tomorrow it might yield very less. So we don't know the fluctuations of market. So equities will yield high returns and equally has high risk. So this is all about equity schemes. If you want to invest any kind of mutual funds or mutual fund schemes, there are many websites or many apps in Play Store available in Play Store and Google. Like you have Grow, you have Fisdom. You can also approach so many individual banks or any kind of financial institutions. Aditya Birla Mutual Fund, SBI Mutual Fund, so many are there. But instead of that, you can directly invest in various apps only, like Grow, Fisdom, and all. So that will be really easy. When you open those websites or apps, like you can find the trends of that particular mutual fund. You will find the returns from that particular mutual fund. So nowadays, like when you see those particular market and all, you can make out that there are many companies which are doing really well in mutual funds. That may be HDFC Mutual Fund. I'm just giving you an insight on where you can just go through and invest. HDFC is doing really well. SBI Hybrid Mix is doing really well. So next comes the debt schemes. Debt schemes is a mutual fund scheme that invests in fixed income instruments such as corporate and government bonds. Yeah, I told you about debentures or bonds, right? Again, there is a bifurcation of this kind of thing in mutual funds. They will be investing in government or corporate bonds. and money market instruments also sometimes that offer capital appreciation. You will get good returns in this also, this kind of schemes also. Debt funds are also referred to as income funds or bond funds. Yeah, because they are involved with this debentures and bonds. Whereas in debt scheme, it aims to add stability. You will have stable returns, stable income from debt schemes to your equity portfolio and can provide reasonable returns as they invest in interest bearing securities like government and corporate bonds. Yes, like these kind of debt schemes will provide stable income or stable returns and it will be very profitable. Next is balance schemes. Balance schemes are usually like they will provide growth to your money or investment. And what exactly this balance scheme includes is you can invest in hybrid schemes. Hybrid is nothing but there will be 50% of equity and 50% of debt. You can invest in this kind of schemes only because there will be less risky. That particular hybrid scheme is very less risky. So if I want to suggest you all or advise you all, I will suggest you to go with hybrid schemes and mutual funds because they are very less risky and they are very high. They will provide you or yield you very high returns. Any doubts, guys, till now? Any doubts?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Everyone is
Okay.
clear with it.
Thank you so much, sir. So, and the last one is sector specific schemes. Okay, can any one of you tell me what are the different sectors in our economy? Very easy, no? You can tell sectors in our economy. We have more than 24 sectors. Any one of you? Okay, the time is running. I will only answer. So we have FMCG, we have IT, that is information technology sector. We have
Agriculture.
yes, agriculture, correct. We have medical, we have pharmaceutical, many sectors. Okay, like since this pandemic, this pharmaceutical industries are doing really well, right? So you can choose this sector and you can invest your money in the form of mutual funds. Like this will be a suggestion for this time being. So sector specific schemes are like you can invest in various sectors of economy. That might be agriculture, FMCG, IT, pharmaceutical, etc. By seeing the market trends now, like if you see the market trends, pharmaceutical is doing really well. So if you want to invest there, you can invest there. That's it. This is all about sector specific schemes. So summing up, these are mutual funds. Any doubts in mutual funds? I think everybody is aware of mutual funds. If no,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No more doubts.
okay. Let's go into the fifth one. That is real estate. Very easy. Does anyone has a dream of buying a house or constructing a house? Anyone of you?
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
That's really great, sir. So I know that everyone will have a dream of buying house, right? So even I have. So everyone will have. Everyone should have, because that will indicate the growth of your life. So basically, real estate is also a kind of investment. That can be agricultural land. If you any one of you loves farming, you can do that. You can buy agricultural land. That is also a kind of investment, and it will yield high returns also. Next, you can come with semi-urban land. Next comes with commercial properties, like you can buy a flat or apartment, etc., etc. Raw house. You can buy a farmhouse where you can party really well there. I mean, farmhouses are really good. So real estate is also another kind of investment avenue where it requires like the investment, the starting cost will be really high. If we compare with nowadays, like this generation, the cost is really high for if I talk about the like the rate of a flat in Mumbai, it is almost about 1 crore now, but it is worth it. If you invest there, if you buy any house, it is really worth, because it will give you very high returns after selling and all. So real estate is a very good investment avenue. I think nobody has any doubts. Nobody will have any doubts in this. So let's get into the sixth one, that is precious objects. I know many of them are fascinated of this basic, like importantly, we women like jewelry, right? So we can also invest in diamonds, gold, silver, platinum, and all. So precious objects are nothing but these things. You can invest in any kind of jewelry. You can buy jewelry. It is also an investment. When you sell, you will get the original price. For example, if the particular gold is of 24 carat or 22 carat, you will, when you bought the particular precious, I mean that particular gold, with the price, like the initial price, when you're selling that, or if you're exchanging that, you will be having the same price with that 24 and 22 carat. So it will again give you very good return when you're exchanging it. So you can go with precious object. You should save, you should buy precious object. It will be useful for your future generations too. So this is all about precious objects. It is nothing but investing in jewelry. That's it. It might be stones like ruby, etc., etc., emerald and all too. So any doubts in this, the real estate and precious objects, guys?
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's get into the seventh one, derivatives. So, like, everyone knows that derivatives will be traded in stock exchanges, no? Like, if anyone of you gone through this BSE and NSE sites, you will see there futures and options. No, guys? Reply no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes. So derivatives, thank you, sir. So derivatives means indirect investments in the assets. Derivatives market is growing at a tremendous speed. Yeah, we know that there are so many derivatives traded in stock exchanges. The important benefit of investing in derivatives is that it leverages the investment, then manages the risk and helps in doing speculation. It will basically, like in simple terms, you can go with like individual, and an individual cannot do that. You can do that but with less investment. But when talking about the companies, in the context of companies, they basically do this futures and options trading in stock exchanges. So let's discuss about the four types of derivatives. We have many, but let's confine with only four types. First is forwards. Forward contracts is a customizable derivative contract between two parties to buy or sell an asset at a specified price on a future date. So basically, today I will be tying up with the another party that I want to take something from your company. What will I discuss with that party? That party will tell that we will fix a date of that payment for a future date. Like that, the date which we are fixing the deal, right? We will not be paying that day itself. We will be paying at a future date, future prefixed date. So the payment will be in the future date and the date will not be the same day. It will be another date. So forwards are customizable agreements between two parties on a particular deal, which will have a future date and a future time and a future day payment. Next is futures. Futures are derivative financial contracts that obligate the parties to transact an asset at a predetermined future date and price. Okay, this is again looking same like forwards, right? I will tell you the difference. Both forwards and futures are agreement between two parties itself on a deal. They will have some deal. They will be having some prefixed time, prefixed payment, prefixed future date and all. But the only different with futures and forwards are forwards are not standardized contracts. That means futures are traded in stock exchanges, which in turn will be regulated by SEBI and RBI. But forwards are not like that. Forwards can be in private arrangement also. For example, I will be I want to make a deal with some person individually. I mean, in a private arrangement. So what will I do? I will directly talk to that person and make a deal. So these are forwards. This will be in a private arrangement. But when it comes to futures, no, you have to compulsorily have a regulatory body. You will have a regulatory body like SEBI. They will be regulating you. They will be monitoring you. So these are futures. These are standardized contracts. You cannot fool people there. You cannot fool SEBI or RBI there. You have to show all the documents. You have to show all the deals that you're making with the other parties in SEBI, with the SEBI or RBI. But forwards fraudsters are increasing in forwards. That is the reason forwards are not very inevitable. I mean, not very inevitable in nowadays. It is not evident. Futures will be traded again. Next comes options. Options are financial derivatives that give buyers the right but not the obligation to buy or sell an underlying asset at an agreed upon price and date. Basically, I will not explain you in depth, but options are like the buyer will have the right to discuss about that, but not the obligation, not the duty. It will not be the duty of the buyer to buy or sell. I mean, sell that particular or buy that particular asset, underlying asset. So the seller might be having, but not the buyer. We have call option and put option in this options, but let's not discuss about that. This is like you will be trading this in the stock exchanges again. Corporates will be trading it. That's it. These are futures and options. Any doubts till now? Okay.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much. And the last one is swaps. A swap is a derivative contract through which two parties exchange the cash flows or liabilities from two different financial instruments. Most swaps involve cash flows based on a notional principal amount, such as loan or bond, although the instrument can be almost anything. Okay, I will give you an example. Swap is like, for example, two persons are taking some loan or any kind of instrument from a bank. So they will have one will have higher rate and second might have lower rate. So that one particular person will not be able to pay the particular amount for that higher rate of interest. So what the bank will do is they can swap. They will swap in the banks. So this is swap. Like swapping is like exchanging, right? So these are swaps. This kind of service is provided by banks and financial institutions. So this is all about derivatives. I think I should go with the next topic, that is non-marketable securities. Non-marketable securities are those securities which cannot be liquidated in financial markets. That means you cannot trade or make any kind of investment in financial markets like stock exchanges or as such, but it is also a kind of investment avenue. Bank deposits, post office deposits, company deposits, provident fund deposits. Like bank deposits, in the sense you want to deposit some amount in a bank. For example, let's say SBI itself, you will deposit some lump sum amount, like huge amount in the bank itself. So it will be yielding very good, it might be not very good interest rates with high returns, but it will eat something, like it will yield or it will give you some returns. So you can go with bank deposits that are very like fixed deposits or recurring deposits. Especially they will yield really good returns. PNB RDs are really good, SBI RDs are really good, HDFC and so many banks are offering really good RDs, like the interest rates are really good. So these are all about bank deposits. I think everyone knows about this. So let's get to the second one, that is post office deposits. So if I compare bank and post office deposits, like bank will yield more, but post office is like they will have a fixed interest, not fixed rate of interest, like the yield will be less when compared to bank returns. But post office deposits is like you cannot withdraw it within 1 year or as such. You can keep it till 2 years or 3 years. So they will also yield really good, and they are safer in hands because they are also managed by government. So you can also go with post office deposits if you want to invest lump sum amount, or they will also invest. They will also give an option like SIP, or like every month you can pay it, and or lump sum also you can go with this post office deposits. Again, they will yield really good returns. Next is company deposits. A corporate deposit or a company deposit is an interest-bearing deposit bank product offered to corporate banking customers by banks and accredited financial institutions. It contrasts to retail deposits, which are held by consumers, and business deposits that are held by SMEs. Okay, basically, company deposits are offered by various private corporates. They will have very good returns also. So if anyone wants to do investment in this, you can go with this. Or employees of that particular company, individual company, will also have some kind of facilities to invest in that particular companies. So this is about company deposits, and the other two, bank and post office. Let's get to the last one, that is provident fund deposits. A provident fund is a compulsory government managed retirement savings scheme. So basically, provident fund is not for individuals, but who are working in any company, they will have this kind of service. Like every month, they'll be deducting some amount for their after their retirement, they can use this. In case of government organization, like after retirement, they will be giving the PF and all. They will be deducting every month when they are in service, and after retirement and all, they'll be giving the PFs and all. But in case of corporate companies, like every 10 years or after 10 years, you can just withdraw the PF and use it for your personal uses. Like you can buy an asset, you can buy any kind of agricultural land as such. This is all about provident fund. Any doubts in this non-marketable securities, guys? Please answer quickly.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. So 9th one is e-gold. E-gold is not basically on physical gold. You cannot buy a physical gold, but e-gold is like, again, it is like a trading instrument. So the process of buying gold electronically will consider as e-gold. Investors who wish to invest in gold as a part of their long-term financial goals can buy e-gold in small quantities and keep it in their demat account. So basically what you can do is, if any individual wants to purchase e-gold, buy e-gold for long-term use, for long-term, as a long-term financial instrument, you can buy e-gold in small quantities. Don't go with large quantities, it might fluctuate, right? So you can go with small quantities and you can save it in your demat account. It, like trading for this, requires demat account and trading account. So that smaller amount of e-gold, electronic gold, you can save it in demat account. Once their target is achieved, in the sense, the target is nothing but returns. If the returns are high, that will be the target. Once their target is achieved, they can take the physical delivery of gold through the exchange. What you can do is, this e-gold will be converted into physical gold in the exchanges, and you can take that. That's it. This is all about e-gold. This is a very easy process. You can also invest in various avenues. We have so many apps like Grow, and we can also use payments banks also, right? Like this Google Pay and all. You can make use of that and invest e-gold in that. You can convert them in physical gold, and you can it might be in the form of coins or biscuits, or as such, that physical gold, you can convert them and you can make use of it. It will also yield high returns, guys. E-gold is a very good investment. Any doubts in this? If no, I will go to the last topic.
No, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. So last topic of today's session is cryptocurrency. So anyone has any idea on cryptocurrency? Like you can discuss. Okay, this is a very new topic nowadays. It is emerging. It is trending nowadays. So it is a digital currency. Again, it has a characteristic of e-gold. E-gold is also a physical thing, not physical one. It is digital one. So cryptocurrency is also digital currency, in which transactions are verified. Like for each thing, the particular software or any kind of regulation will be verifying your transaction. Each transaction it will verify, and records will be maintained for that. Who will maintain that records? No banks will interfere in that. There is no mediator or mediation in this cryptocurrency. There will be no banks, no intermediaries. You will have some software or some kind of technology, which is called as blockchain technology, which will be monitoring every transaction of yours, and that particular transaction will be stored as blocks, that is termed as blocks. Those blocks will have all like individual transaction you have done. So blockchain technology is the one that will be involved in cryptocurrency. I will not explain you in depth, but cryptocurrency is very trending nowadays. Like you have so many websites or apps I can suggest you. I mean, without any knowledge, please don't invest in that. But since it is trending, you can just go to Google and see the working of that, right? There is no offense in that. So cryptocurrency has so many apps like OctaFX, Nexo, and all. So that is, they are advertising too nowadays. So even in YouTube recommendations, you can see those advertisements and promotions. So cryptocurrency is trending now, and like basically people are investing more in bitcoins, dogecoins, and all. So this is all about cryptocurrency. You can see the symbol there, that is bitcoin symbol. So this is cryptocurrency and various investment avenues. You people have, like, we have so many sources like Google. You can go to the website called Grow Fisdom, or you can also open BSc and NSC websites. You can just explore the sites tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Just see the sites. That's it for today, guys. So any doubts, please do ask.
Guys, now you can ask the doubts. If you have any kind of doubts now, you can free to ask. And you can ask in chat box also.
Pavan sir, someone had any doubt from yesterday's class, they can also ask. Like
Yeah.
someone said that they had a doubt from yesterday's class, so they can also ask the chat
Yes.
box.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Guys, so you can answer in ask in chat box also if you have any kind of doubts in yesterday session or today's session. I will read it up. Ma'am, I think no one has any kind of doubts, so we can wind up for today. And thank you everyone for joining for today's session. And 3 more days to go. And stay tuned to our WhatsApp group. We will update each and every update there. And we will catch you tomorrow at 6 p.m. And we will provide you link in the WhatsApp group. Thank you guys. Thank you everyone.
Thank you
And
to all.
and as yesterday ma'am has discussed about the task has given about the trading. So you can start from Monday as market opens tomorrow. So be active in that task and you can submit your task in WhatsApp group. Thank you everyone. Now the participants can leave now.